This is a trail of newborn stars,
and it stretches
perfectly straight.
across space
It stretches thousands of light years across
astronomers
space.
first located it,
And whilst
they
we
had
do
absolutely
see a
no
shock front,
idea how it
more
got
on that
there.
later,
And indeed,
a simple
no real
yet
concept
serious
of what it
problem
was.
arises with this
It was only when they
explanation:
precisely
the
turned their
shape.
telescopes to the
When
very
astronomers
front of
first
this
found it,
long
they
streak
had
that
no
the
idea
explanation
how it
became
got there
clear.
and no
And in
idea
many
what it
significant
was.
ways, the
They
true
were able
source
to
is even
measure
stranger
strong
than the
emission
stars
lines that
themselves.
confirmed the gas at the very
There,
tip of the structure
actively
had
leading
been
the
heated
charge,
and compressed
is a
by a
singular,
powerful shock.
supermassive
They
black
also
hole
found a sudden
racing
jump
through the
in
void
gas
of
velocity,
space at a velocity of
indicating
nearly
that something is
1,000
moving
kilometers per
extremely
second,
fast,
leaving in its
supersonically
extensive
in fact,
wake
through space.
millions upon millions
The Discovery
of
team
newborn
considered
stars.
all of their
But let us
potential
hang on a minute
explanations
here.
for the streak of
Aren't
stars,
black holes
but even with the new
traditionally supposed to
data,
completely
none of them
destroy
seemed to
stars?
fit.
How is
The
it
more
possible that this
possibilities the
specific
team
one is
ruled
actually
out,
creating
the
them?
more they started
And
to
perhaps
wonder
more
whether
importantly
this
to
streak
us,
of stars
where
could
did
have
it
a more
originate? What
extreme,
catastrophic cosmic
elusive
event
explanation:
could have possibly sent
a
this
runaway
particular
black
supermassive
hole.
black hole
It was
hurtling
only when
through
they turned
space
their
in the first
telescopes
place.
to the front of
I'm
the
Alex
streak
McConaughey,
that it
and you're
became
watching
clear.
Astrum.
And in many
Join me
ways,
today
it's
as we
even
uncover
stranger than the stars
spectacularly
themselves.
violent and rare event
The first
that has
hypothesis
created
was
one of
that
the
this line of
strangest
stars
major
could be a
discoveries in
super
modern
thin
astronomy,
galaxy,
a true
oriented side onto
runaway
us
black hole.
so we could just
We'll
see
get to
the
the
edge of it.
absolute bottom of why
But
this
observation
fundamentally
showed that
destructive
these weren't
cosmic
regular
monster
stars.
is leaving a
They were
trailing
all
path of
young
millions
and
of
blue.
stars in its chaotic
And we've
wake,
also seen
and
radio-induced star
simultaneously uncover
formation
the
in
truth
Centaurus
about how
A.
remarkably common
Perhaps that
this
would
strange
explain a
phenomenon
straight line
might
of stars.
actually be. The
The
Hubble Space
guidance and
Telescope has served as one
mentoring
of our
are
single
more
greatest
accessible
cosmic
for our
tools
kids
for
than
several
ever,
decades.
thanks to
We've
Brilliant,
utilized
the
it to
sponsor
study
of today's
diverse
video.
starbursts,
Brilliant is
massive
an
black
online
holes,
learning platform
incredibly
enhanced
beautiful
with a
nebulae,
new
and
artificial
much,
tutor
much
called
more.
Koji, an
But what it has
interactive
been
mentor
particularly
who can
useful
coach
for
your
in the field
children
of
on
astronomy
maths or
is deeply
programming
exploring
subjects
other
without
diverse
just giving them
galaxies.
the answers.
And when
I've
a
tried it
dedicated
myself
team of
and
Hubble
found that when I
scientists,
told
led
Koji I
specifically
wasn't
by
sure
Yale
how to
University
proceed with a
astronomer
question,
Peter Van
he offered
Dockum,
hints
we're
and
looking at
even
a
drew on my
nearby
screen
and
to draw
otherwise
attention to
unassuming
things
dwarf
that I might have
galaxy in the
missed.
year
Honestly,
2023,
having someone on
they
standby
noticed
to help me
something
figure out
completely
difficult
strange.
concepts was a
An
lifesaver
oddly
for me
and
in my
profoundly
university
straight
years,
line
and
of young,
unlike
bright blue
real-life
stars
tutors or
and
teachers,
associated gas,
Koji is always
stretching
available
almost
to
twice the
answer
total
when
length
it's
of our own
needed.
Milky Way
See if it's
galaxy,
there.
and containing
Leading
the
the
equivalent mass
charge
of roughly
is a
100 million
supermassive
of our
black
suns.
hole racing through
This immense
space at
streak
nearly
of newborn stars
1,000 kilometers
is truly
per
a
second,
spectacular phenomenon,
leaving in its wake
and it was a genuinely
millions of
remarkable
newborn
find. In
stars.
fact, directly upon
But
making
hang
this
on a minute.
observation,
Aren't
Van Dockum
black
was
holes
quoted as
supposed to
saying,
destroy stars?
"Something like this
How
has
is it that
honestly
one
never been
is
seen
creating them?"
anywhere in the known
Revealed that the
universe."
oldest part of the
The
streak
team quickly
stretched
got
back
right
to
to
a
work,
dense,
attempting to
star-forming
explain
galaxy
this bizarre
about
streak of
7.7
stars,
billion
and they
light-years
initially
from
came up
Earth.
with several
The
key
streak itself was
possibilities.
nearly
Could it be a super
200,000
thin,
light-years
completely
long.
edge-on,
But
bulgeless
these
galaxy
discoveries
that was
themselves
just very
pose some
unusual?
serious questions.
Perhaps a real
The
runaway
supermassive black
hole
holes
that
at their
was visible,
respective galactic
or even
cores
something
merge to
complex
form
like
one
jet-induced
new
star formation.
supermassive black hole.
To work it out,
The
they
asymmetrical
desperately
release
needed
of
more
gravitational
information.
waves from
And
their merger
thankfully,
would have caused
that
such a
vital new
violent
data was
recoil
already on its
that it
way.
would easily
Crucial
be enough
follow-up
to suddenly
data
send
obtained
the
from
new
the
black hole
Keck
flying out of the
Observatory
host
located in
galaxy.
Hawaii
Models of
revealed
this
that the
scenario in
oldest known part of the long
RBH1's case,
streak
the
stretched
stellar
all
vein
the way back
leads
to a
right back
dense,
to the source,
extremely
the
star-forming
cosmic
galaxy,
owl.
about
This
7.7 billion
two-galaxy
light-years
system
distant
is
from
about
Earth.
7.5
The streak
to
itself
9
was
billion
measured to be
light-years
nearly
away,
200,000
and it got its name
light
because
years
it
in
looks like an
length.
owl with
But these
two eyes and a
groundbreaking
beak.
discoveries themselves
And more
posed some
importantly,
very
where
serious
did it come
questions.
from? What
Where
could have
exactly
sent
did
this
this long,
supermassive black
thin,
hole
narrow band of
hurtling
stars
through
come
space in the first
And
place?
why, precisely, did it seem to be forming directly in the
I'm
wake
Alex
of what appeared to
McColgan,
be
and you're
a
watching
seemingly
Astrum.
massive
Join me as we
object?
uncover the
Discovery team
spectacularly
thoroughly
violent event
considered
that's
all of
created
their
one of the
potential scientific
strangest discoveries
explanations for the
in
streak of
modern
stars.
astronomy.
But
A
even with the
runaway
vital new
black
data from
hole.
Keck, none of
We'll
them
get to the
seemed
bottom of why
truly
this
fit the
destructive cosmic
observation.
monster
Their
is
very
leaving a
first
trail
hypothesis
of
was that this
millions of
entire
stars
line
in
of
its
stars
wake,
could simply be
and
a
uncover the
super
truth
thin,
about
narrow
how
galaxy
common this strange
oriented
phenomenon
perfectly side
might
on to us,
be.
so that we could just see the edge of it from our perspective.
The Hubble Space Telescope has been one of our greatest cosmic tools for decades. We've used it to study starbursts, black holes, beautiful nebulae, and much more. But what it's been particularly useful for is exploring other galaxies. And when a team of Hubble scientists led by Yale University astronomer Peter Van Dokkum were looking at a nearby dwarf galaxy in 2023, they noticed something strange, an oddly straight line of young, blue stars and gas, stretching almost twice the length of our own Milky Way galaxy. and containing the mass of roughly 100 million suns,
yes, it is true
this streak of newborn stars is truly spectacular, and it was a remarkable find. In fact, upon making the observation, Van Dokkum said, "Something like this has never been seen anywhere in the universe." The team quickly got to work attempting to explain this streak of stars, and they came up with several possibilities. Could it be a super thin, edge-on, bulgeless galaxy, perhaps a runaway black hole, or even jet-induced star formation? To work it out, they needed more information, and thankfully that was on its way. Follow-up data from the Keck Observatory in Hawaii. Where did this long, thin band of stars come from? And why did it seem to be forming in the wake of a seemingly massive object? A galaxy is usually made of stars that are different ages and colors. Not only that, but the front line of stars gave off an extremely bright signature of doubly ionized oxygen, or O3. This means 2 electrons have been stripped away from each oxygen atom. Making O3 requires very high energy, and it only forms in extreme environments. Yes, galaxies can be extreme, but the chances of it being so at one end like this were minuscule. These observations meant that the culprit likely wasn't a narrow galaxy. The researchers also interrogated the idea that it could be jet-induced star formation from the nearby galaxy. Now, we already have examples of radio jets triggering star formation. We've seen it in Minkowski's object, a peculiar star-forming galaxy near NGC 541. If this were the case, a radio jet from within the nearby galaxy would shock gas in its path, compressing the interstellar gas and increasing its density. This could trigger star formation along the jet's path. This feature is narrowest at the tip, the furthest point from the nearby galaxy. In contrast, a jet reaches its widest width at the furthest point. Similarly, the strongest interactions from a jet would be observed closest to the origin of the jet, the galaxy, if this theory was right. Yet, the opposite seems to be true for this unknown feature. The hunt for answers is not always an easy one, and there was no one to tell these scientists if they got the answer right. The same does not have to be true for our own kids' hunt for knowledge. Classrooms might be hectic, and personal tutors are expensive. For decades, the idea of a runaway black hole was purely theoretical. Helpful for your kids. Scan my QR code or follow the link in the description below to get started with this brilliant tutor for free. You can gain access to all Brilliant has to offer by upgrading to Premium, and using my links to do so can get you 20% off your annual subscription. Now, back to runaway black holes. In 1983, physicist Michael Fitchett showed that merging black holes could create asymmetric gravitational waves, causing a powerful recoil that could then send the merged black hole shooting off in one direction. Mathematically speaking, these could exist, but no one had ever observed one, and astronomers knew it would be difficult to spot unless it happened to create a large, visible footprint, that is.
For many decades, the entire concept
The answer came a few years after the streak's initial discovery, when in December of 2025, Van Dokkum, once again, led a team of astrophysicists in exploring this space oddity, this time using the James Webb Space Telescope. With its better resolution, the team was able to observe and measure the feature in greater detail. One of the most important pieces of evidence confirmed by the James Webb Space Telescope was that there was an absolutely enormous bow shock at one end of the line of stars. Just as air is compressed in front of a supersonic jet, or a boat pushes through the water and creates a wake behind it, something was pushing on the interstellar medium. Now, obviously, this bow shock is not being created by a plane or a boat. The team thought the most likely culprit was actually a supermassive black hole, at least 10 million times the mass of our Sun, as it plows through space at roughly 1,000 kilometers per second, compressing heated gas in front of it. But they still had to prove it. All of this evidence pointed to a single conclusion. The entire structure
air is
must be the
forcibly
weight of
compressed in
something
front of a supersonic jet
absolutely
plane,
massive.
or a boat
The only
pushes
thing massive
forcibly through
and
the water.
compact enough to have this
Something out
effect
there was pushing
would be
heavily
a
on the
runaway
interstellar medium.
supermassive black
Now,
hole.
quite obviously, this
So the
specific
team
bow
had
shock is not
confirmed
being
the
created by a
first
plane
photographic
or a boat.
evidence of a runaway
The team thought
supermassive
the
black
most
hole,
likely cosmic
and
culprit
they named
was
it
actually a
inventively as
supermassive black hole,
Runaway
at
Black
least
Hole
10
One,
million times
or
the total mass of our sun,
RBH1.
as it powerfully
But
plows
there's
through
one
space
problem with this
at roughly
discovery.
1,000
We
kilometers per
typically
second,
think of a black hole
compressing and
as
heating
the
gas
source of
directly
a
in
violent
front of it.
destruction,
But they still had to
capturing nearby
definitively
stars
prove it
and
was
solar
so.
systems, even
They were
light
able to
itself,
precisely measure
until
strong
it has
emission lines
devoured
that confirmed the
everything
gas
in
at
its
the very
path.
tip of the entire
How is
structure
it that
had been
this
heated and
black hole
compressed
is
specifically
creating
by a powerful
stars?
shock.
As
They also found a sudden,
RBH1
large jump
carves
in
a
gas
chaotic
velocity,
path through space,
indicating that something
its
is moving
powerful bow
extremely
shock
fast,
causes compressed
supersonically
gas to
in fact,
accumulate
through
and
space
trail
at that
behind.
location.
As it cools
All of
and
this
mixes
collected
with
evidence
other
pointed
surrounding
to a
gases,
single, clear
clumps
conclusion.
along the trail of
The
gas
entire
collapse
structure must
to
be the
form new
wake of
stars.
something that is
It
absolutely
is the
massive,
very chaos
yet
of this
invisible.
runaway supermassive
The
black
only
hole
thing
that
massive and
ultimately
compact enough to
seeds the
have this
distant
effect
cosmos
would be a
with the
runaway
matter and
supermassive
conditions
black
to
hole.
form new stars.
So, the
From
team had finally
cosmic
confirmed
carnage
the very first
comes
photographic evidence
stellar
of a true
rebirth.
runaway supermassive black
But why
hole.
is
And they named it, quite
RBH1
inventively,
hurtling
as
through
Runaway Black
intergalactic
Hole
space
One,
at
or
breakneck speeds in the
RBH1?
first place?
But
Where did it
there's
come
one problem
from?
with this discovery. We typically and correctly think of a black
Luckily,
hole
this
as
part of the
source
mystery
a violent
comes
and
with its
total
own
destruction,
line of evidence.
capturing nearby stars
Literally.
and solar systems.
The team
even
led
light
by Van
itself,
Dockum
until it has
said that
devoured
with the
everything
black
in its
hole's
path.
current velocity of
How
about
is it possible that this
954
specific black
kilometers
hole
per
is
second,
actually
the
creating
evidence is
new
very
stars?
strong,
As
bordering
RBH1
on
carves a chaotic
overwhelming
and violent
that this
path
is
through
indeed
space,
a runaway
its
supermassive
powerful
black
bow
hole
shock
that was
caused
sent
compressed gas
traveling
to
from
accumulate
its
and
once
trail along
host
behind it.
galaxy.
As this
It
gas
was
subsequently
flung
cools and
fast
mixes
enough
with
to
other
escape
surrounding
its
gases,
galaxy,
clumps
and
along this
eventually
trailing wake
also
of
the
gas collapse to form
circumgalactic
brand new
medium,
stars.
the faint
It is the
halo of
very
gas that
chaos and
surrounds the
violence of
galaxy.
this runaway
This
supermassive black
unique
hole
galaxy
that
offers
ultimately
clues to
seeds
what
the distant
sent
cosmos with the matter
RBH1
and
on its
conditions
current
required to
trajectory.
form new stars.
The shape
From
of this
profound
two-galaxy
cosmic
system
carnage
is
comes
very
genuine stellar
unusual
rebirth.
and was created through
But why
the
exactly
extremely
is
rare
RBH1
collision of
hurtling through
two ring
intergalactic
galaxies.
space at such
Ring
breakneck
galaxies make
speeds
up
in the
just
first place?
0.01%
Where did it
of all
originally
the
come from?
galaxies we've discovered so
Luckily,
far,
this
with
part of the
only a
mystery
few
comes with its
hundred
own
known in
direct
the
line
local
of
universe.
evidence, literally
Why?
and figuratively.
Well,
The team
in
led
order
by
to
Van
form,
Dockum said
they
that with the
require a
black hole's
galaxy to
current
pass
velocity of
almost
about
directly
954
through the
kilometers per
center
second,
of another
the
galaxy.
overall evidence
As you
is
can
very
imagine,
strong,
that's not
bordering
easy.
on completely
Just like
overwhelming,
if you're playing
that this is
darts,
indeed a
chances are
runaway
much greater that the
supermassive
dart
black
will land
hole
off-center,
that was
no
forcefully
matter
sent
how
traveling
good your
from
aim,
its once
than
host
directly on the
galaxy.
bullseye.
It was
And
flung
well,
out fast
galaxies
enough to
don't
escape its
come with an
galaxy,
innate sense
and
of
eventually
aim.
also the
This means the
circumgalactic
chance of
medium,
one ring
which is the
galaxy
faint
being
halo of
created
gas
is
that
already
surrounds the
rare.
entire galaxy.
So
In
two
RBH1's
of these
specific
rare
case,
galaxies
the stellar
existing
vein
close
leads
to
right back
each
to the
other
original source,
is even
the
more
unique
unusual.
galaxy known as the cosmic
Take that one
owl.
step further,
This
and the chance that
two-galaxy system is
two
located
rare
about
ring galaxies
7.5 to
collide
9
with each
billion
other,
light-years away from
well,
Earth.
you can see
And it
why the
originally got
cosmic
its name
owl,
because it looks
also
somewhat
dubbed
like an
the
owl with
Infinity
two bright
Galaxy,
eyes and a
is
beak.
an
This
exceptionally
unique
rare
and rare
type of galaxy
offers
merger.
vital clues to what
Astronomers
sent
say that
RBH1 on
the
its
symmetry
rapid
of the
escape
resulting
path.
cosmic owl
The
is a
shape of this
strong
two-galaxy
indicator of
system
a
is very
head-on collision
unusual
between
and was
two
created
galaxies
through the
of
extremely
similar
rare
mass.
collision of two
Both
distinct
of the ring galaxies that make up the cosmic owl are
galaxies are
relatively
themselves
small,
extremely rare,
each measuring
making
in
up
at
just
only about a quarter of the
0.01%
diameter of the
all
Milky Way.
galaxies we've discovered
At the
so
time of the
far,
collision,
with only
each
a
of
few
the owl's
hundred known
eyes
in our
represented
entire
a
local
galactic
universe.
core of
Why?
densely packed old
Well, in
stars
order to
surrounding
form,
a black
they
hole.
require a galaxy to
Where
pass
these
almost
eye-like
directly
galaxy
through the
edges
precise
began to
center of
merge
another
some
galaxy.
38 million years ago,
As you can easily
we
imagine,
get to
that's
the
not
area
easy.
known
Just
as
like
the
if you're
beak.
playing darts, the
This
chances
is
are
a
much
place
greater
of
that the dart will
active
land
collision,
off-center,
packed
no matter
with
how good
molecular
your aim,
gas,
than
the
directly on the
fuel for
bullseye.
star formation.
And well,
This
galaxies don't come
ancient
with an
collision
innate
may
sense of
have been
aim.
the
This
very
means the
catalyst
mathematical
that
chance
sent
of one ring
RBH1 on its
galaxy being
rapid
created
escape
is
path.
already very rare. So two of these rare galaxies exist.
There are two leading explanations for what could have happened to RBH1.
Take that one
Either
step
a
further,
merger of two
and the
black
chance
holes,
that two
or a
rare ring galaxies
three-body
collide
interaction
each
with
other.
a third black
Well,
hole
you can see why
involved.
the cosmic owl,
So, which is
also
it?
dubbed the infinity galaxy,
When ring galaxies like
is an
these collide,
exceptionally rare
their
type of
supermassive black
galaxy
holes
merger.
spiral nearer and
Astronomers say
nearer
that
to
the
each other,
symmetry of the
drawn
resulting
together by their
cosmic owl
massive gravity.
is a strong indicator
When the
of a
observation was
head-on
initially
collision
revealed in
between two
2023,
galaxies
before
of
it had been
similar mass.
confirmed by the Webb,
Both of
the
the ring
leading
galaxies that
explanation
make up the
seemed like
cosmic
it
owl
could be the
are relatively
three-body
small,
gravitational interaction
measuring in
scenario
at
where 3 supermassive black holes were brought close enough to interact with each other through the galactic merger. In this case, the 2 supermassive black holes at the galactic cores of the merging galaxies spiral together to form a binary black hole system at the center. This kind of binary black hole system can last billions of years, and if a third supermassive black hole gets close enough to the galactic core, this 3-body interaction can send one of them flying out of the core with enough velocity to escape the galaxy altogether. But with more accurate measurements, it became clear that the better fitting scenario was actually a black hole merger. The mass was the smoking gun in the mystery. If it had been 3 black holes interacting, the lowest mass black hole would be the most likely one to be shot out of the system, whereas in a merger, the larger combined black hole is the one that would be ejected. In this case, the supermassive black hole's mass was calculated to be greater than 10 million times the mass of our Sun, too massive to be a small third black hole, but just what would be expected from a binary merger and gravitational kick. As the 2 ring galaxies of the cosmic owl collided, models of this scenario are consistent with measurements of RBH1's velocity and the mass of the galaxy it left behind. In other words, this theory is consistent with what we've measured and simulated. If the team is correct, the ring galaxy's central black holes would have merged into one supermassive black hole that was flung out of the cosmic owl by the gravitational wave recoil. In a merger like this, the galaxy system may be temporarily left with no central black hole, although we don't have concrete evidence one way or the other just yet.
The mass was the true smoking gun in the mystery.
Whilst this remains a mystery, we do at least know that this unusual galactic merger sent a supermassive black hole on a race toward intergalactic space. The confirmation of RBH1 marks a new era in our understanding of how supermassive black holes, galaxy mergers, and intergalactic star formation can relate to each other. This is the first clear observational confirmation that supermassive black holes can be slingshot out of their host galaxies, and it has revealed the stunning side effect of leaving a string of young stars in its wake. Before the observation, simulations had predicted the wake of a runaway black hole might glow, but few expected them to become stellar nurseries. Even more excitingly, if a runaway supermassive black hole can happen once, it can happen again. After all, galaxy mergers are common and happen often over the lifetime of a galaxy, so black hole binaries should happen regularly, laying the way for black hole mergers or 3-body interactions. For a long time, we've seen black holes as permanent fixtures within their host galaxies, but now it seems this is certainly not the case. Even before this confirmed event, astronomers had spent years gathering evidence of other runaway supermassive black hole candidates, and we think we found multiple instances of wandering black holes, like this spiral galaxy, the memorably named J0437. 2456, located around 288 million light-years from Earth. It's about 3 million times the mass of our Sun, and seems to be moving at a significantly different velocity compared to the rest of its host galaxy. In another case, the central galaxy in a cluster known as Able 2261 should have one of the biggest supermassive black holes in the entire universe, between 3 and 100 billion times the mass of our Sun, and yet it seems to be missing without a trace. A team of astronomers are investigating the hypothesis that, similar to with RBH1, this black hole may have been kicked out of its host galaxy due to gravitational recoil. These curious cases confront researchers with even more questions. How often are supermassive black holes flung from their galaxies, and how many wandering or runaway black holes are out there, zooming through intergalactic space?
Astronomers had spent years gathering evidence
Despite
of
other candidate runaways, RBH1 is, for now at least, still the only one we've been able to confirm, and it was difficult to spot. Just a thin, faint, faraway signature. That could be about to change with the Euclid mission and the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope's wide scans of the sky in Hubble-like clarity.
and seems to
And
be
with the
moving
introduction
at a
of machine
significantly
learning
different
tools to help
velocity
spot these
compared to
long
the rest of
streaks,
its host
we may
galaxy.
go
In
from
another
just
case,
one
a
confirmed
central
case
galaxy in a
to an
cluster known
entire
as
population of known
2261
runaway supermassive
should
black
have one of the
holes.
biggest supermassive
For now,
black holes
one thing
in the
is for
entire
certain,
universe.
galaxy
Between
collisions
3
may
to
last for
100
billions of
billion
years,
times the
but
mass
they
of our
are
sun.
anything but
And yet,
slow or
it
peaceful
seems to be
events,
missing without a
marked by
trace.
chaotic collisions and violent forces. They are capable of launching entire supermassive black holes on a runaway path across intergalactic space. How odd and beautiful it is that these destructive scars across space are the very reason that millions of new stars are capable of being born in their wake.
How many wandering or runaway black holes are out there zooming through intergalactic space?
I'm happy to announce we
Despite
have a
other candidate
weekly
runaways,
newsletter to keep up with all the
RBH1
discoveries
is,
in
for
our
now at
cosmos,
least, still
and our
the
designer
only one we've
Peter
been able to
has made the
confirm.
most beautiful
And it
email
was
you'll
difficult
ever
to
receive.
spot.
Sign
Just a
up with the
thin,
link down
faint,
below.
faraway
It's the
signature.
best way to stay
That
connected
could be
between
about to
videos.
change with the Euclid
Short,
mission
focused
and the
updates
Nancy
on
Grace
what's new
Roman
and
Space
fascinating in
Telescope's
space
wide
each week.
scans of the sky
No
in
spam, no
Hubble-like
filler,
clarity.
just the
And
good
with the
stuff.
introduction of
You'll get
machine
the
learning
latest
tools
news,
to help spot
visuals,
these long
and insights
streaks,
delivered
we may
straight
go from
into your
just one
inbox.
confirmed case
If you
to
enjoy
an
Astron
entire
videos,
population
you'll
of
love
known
this.
runaway
Join the newsletter
supermassive
and stay
black holes.
curious with us.
For now,